Yo, 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 welcome back to Essentials TF. We're here with yet another season of ETF2L. We are in the spring 2024 season. The winter is ending. Admin's nicely delayed the season as much as possible, so it's not winter anymore. It's now nice and, well, it's not really warm outside yet, but maybe this game will heat things up a little bit here to start the season off as well. It's our first week of Premiership coverage. I'm not here alone. Dr. Underscore with me on production and Faust with me on the mic.
Hello, hello. Yeah, I'm joining you here, Dumb, today. We're viewing the Global YETI versus SKEDDA match. Two teams here. Both could be quite close today. We know that Global YETI did come in with a victory in Div 1 last season, so they've definitely got something to prove with a first season in Prem as a team. And then SKEDDA coming in with, having played at the recent LAN event, they've made a couple of changes to this roster. Mac is staying on that medic class, so clearly he had an enjoyable time at LAN, and they've brought Lucas Tank into the fold on Demo Man. So let's see how this game is looking.
Yeah, it's surely equal levels of returning champions on these teams, with Lucas on the one side and Wonshu on the other, stepping back up for the Polish roster as well, as he so often does whenever, you know, any sort of like high-level Polish roster needs a player. And Global YETI no exception. They won Division 1 last season after a dominant season by Nandem, who are also in Premiership, mind you, this season as well. Both rosters here from Div 1's finals moving up now. The champions are coming in with only the one change, being Sam out, Wonshu in. However, Wonshu also being sorted. They moved Alof to the scout class. Overall, though, a lot of newer faces here as well. And after many off seasons in the past, especially in Nations Cup, where the Polish Nations Cup rosters were always, you know, sort of the same old faces, with these guys moving up, maybe next time things will look different in the Polish national team.
Yeah, for sure. It does look like there's a bit of a changing of the guard going on at the moment, other than, of course, Wonshu, as you've mentioned, who is old reliable. But yeah, some very talented players coming up here. I think quite a few of them also were at that recent Polish LAN on this side. I know that Alof was playing Scout there as well. I think, was it Scrimus was there as well? I think he was popping off a bit on Sniper. So it'll be interesting to see if they can bust that out today and whether that's going to create some value for them in this game.
Yeah, I remember already last Nations Cup, Scrimmers at that point was very much already like their third choice for a scout player. But at the time, they still argued that, well, experienced players are probably the safer bet. But at this point, right, between Highlander and his sniper performances, and here now in 6 as well, the past few seasons, it's been going really well for Scrimmers, let alone the rest of his teammates as well, who, much like also in Highlander, have been also getting 2 Premiership themselves there as well. So it's been a good last few years on that Polish team as well. Here, obviously, a Polish roster is not unfamiliar to the Premiership scene. There's always like one every, like, once a year or so, maybe, moving up even occasionally. So nothing new here, but it's, yeah, as we can see, always new faces, which is nice to see. A lot of older faces, of course, on the other side as well, like we mentioned. They have a lot of team players here. I expect most people to think the red team the better one, but you never know for sure. Still had to work around the qualifier after all to get here this far, but it is what it is, and expectations are high on them as well. People are familiar faces here, so people want to see them perform as they know them.
Yeah, for sure. And they're, you know, Menek's coming in as well. He was playing Beam Scout on Garda last season, but they've you know, got Af or Hubert, however you know him, on the Beam Scout for SKEDDA on this team. So Menek is trying out this season on Flank Scout. And it's going to be, you know, a good test for him to see how he makes that adaptation on that side.
Yeah, I mean, Menek's had a brilliant performance in the qualifier game, so between that and the past few seasons of Premiership, he's been in not looking too shabby at all. Looking pretty good to become, you know, one of those staple scouts we see all the time in Premiership, just doing well no matter what team they're on occasionally. So things will be pretty high here. We have Snakewater to start with. It is sort of the contentious map this season because the lower divisions will not see it at all at the moment. But these teams here will still have to go through. SKEDDA looked pretty competent in it. It wasn't a fast or super exciting game, but they played well. They played solid defensive games against the likes of Nandem as well, who we've seen want to be the aggressive team so far. That is good value, I suppose, as well. And I mean, if they can handle those guys, then surely a team that's barely better than Nandem shouldn't be a problem, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we can talk all we want about what the teams are like on paper, what their history's been like, but at the end of the day, there's one game, we're playing it today, 2 maps, and I think they'll be getting going in a second. So we shall see who comes out on top of this game.
Very much. Well, I am a man of the funnier outcomes, so I always want to see what creates the most chaos in the tables, and the tie to start off with between these two teams certainly would be very interesting. That said, with what we've seen on Snakewater before, SKEDDA might have my little favorite sticker here, but Let's see if Global YETI can change the T a little bit. The Pulse with high expectations of the high momentum of winning Division 1. Want to see what damage they can do in Premiership.
Yeah, and both demos coming into mid here. Lucas Tank is a little bit faster. He's going for those long-range damage on Kidu, trying to pressure him back, but already has to take cover. Both scouts taking top, and they're all playing over the same side at the moment here. Just kind of feeling out the mid. High bomb's coming in from Wanzu. Tries to land on top of Geordie. Hits a nice rocket on him. Cruel coming in as well, but Wanzu goes down. Blue team have spread right over the point, but there's so many players down. Now SKEDDA can start to just push back. They're pressuring them out. Scrim looks like he might be caught in here, going down as well. And that's going to be a mid-win on the side of SKEDDA. Warps does look like he's going for the chase here. It's going to be really tricky for him to catch out this medic, though. Hits one rocket, and it looks like Piku has surfed out all the way onto last.
Yeah, it's a tiny surf through the door. Not getting caught on the door frame is such a big difference maker that a soldier, weak as he is, might not have to chase back into last at that point. Just hit one more good rocket, but Piku gets to live to see another day here, and they want to go right back in here. They want to get in again to back. Maybe the optimism of the medic class slowly disappearing here as we speak. Drop from Mac as they're pushing back in. Bold choice by Global YETI. They hope that spawners will be enough to muscle past the Uber fight, and lo and behold, there won't be an Uber fight at all.
Yeah, that was Matt getting caught out in a little bit of no man's land here and land there and getting wrecked on to drop him. So that's going to be a mistake that he needs to not let linger in his mind for too long here. While Global YETI are capping out the middle point, it looks like SKEDDA want to refight here. Af on the beam, but he's got 4 players to fight against. Geordie coming in from kitchen, hitting a couple of nice rockets, but going down so low and eventually getting chipped down by Alov. It's going to be a mid win again for Global YETI, and they're going to see if they can keep on rolling this through lower without the Uber yet off this player advantage. And it looks like SKEDDA are just going to back all the way out.
Yeah, they respect it. They don't have, like I said, the numbers quite up yet as well, so they just sit on last, set up a defense, make it as good as possible, while you still have a chance to maybe get a bit more Uber charge in the meantime, but they're still notably quite a bit behind. Sniper, gun, anything that can help, none of it really denying the entrance. However, guns quickly down, engineer and spawn can at least swap off, but point pressure will force them out of spawn sooner or later here as well. But that's not that urgent. The soldiers doing a lot of work, just denying people. Still trade 1-for-1 in the back is maybe just enough, especially with the scout and heavy now chasing deep. Manix maybe a bit too much so, but the damage has been done at this point, and with 3 people getting past the heavy double one combination is maybe just too much. Got good early entrance opportunity here, right? Got in quite far onto point, but yeah. Blue soldier, red soldier, sorry, doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
I think that was all Geordie's job, really. He managed to get that block, and using the entire Uber to play the point, only for a result of 0 cap time, just meant they could bring that heavy into the game on a full buff, and it was always going to be really tough from that moment for Global YETI to try and pull something out of this last once they'd had that reset.
Yeah, it is quite rough here right away. Sniper still up on the defense, seeing what they can do with that. Makes sense, I guess, especially with the gun. And this is sort of the contentious point of the map, of course, as well, right? And we've seen SKEDDA already handle it quite nicely on their own defense earlier last week, sitting here quite comfortably. The question is what the Poles can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, there is a sniper up on both sides, so it might be that shuttered door that they're going to look for to try and make some kind of space and get that sniper in on. That's generally the weakest point on this. Yeah, Scrimmers, he goes for the shot when the shutter comes open. Wanzu getting juggled in as well, but manages to just about sneak out, not quite. And then Scrimmers gets a headshot onto Lucas Tank, which is going to create a lot of value on that open side on this line.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned as well, right? These people have certainly not just played Sixers to good success the last few seasons, also Highlander as well. Scrimmers long been a Highlander sniper at Premiership level the past year or so, even more than that, I think it is, right? So, on the rifle, not an unknown quantity at all here, but getting these opportunities in the Sixers game is just a lot harder than in a hectic sort of King of Hill environment you find so often in Highlander, and you really got to do a lot with very little right now on the sniper class.
Yeah, I think it is going to be just looking for those key spam class picks, and that's going to create the space to bring him into the game a little bit more here. You know, again, it looks like they're rotating back to that shutter. Warped God does go down to that sniper, so that shutter is even weaker now. Geordie trying to bomb in. He gets taken down as well, so this is looking really strong for Global YETI right now. They have all the space in the world to bring this sniper into the game and spam down that gun from drop down, having to tank it with the medic and AF, and that is Cruel going down to the medic sniper, so it's going to even out the player count a little bit more, and it might give SKEDDA a little bit of a chance to reset.
Yeah, medic's coming up clutch there. It just makes it so much less easy, so much less viable of an option to just peek deep there while they're trying to spam the gun. They got so close to getting it too, but couldn't find the final shots there in the end, and all of a sudden it might just reset it back. All this work for nothing, at least for now. Brings us back to this game state here, and as much as, you know, it looked pretty good so far, it still has to go quick eventually as well. Time is of the essence. You only have 5 minutes, and 3 of those are already long gone at this point.
Yeah, that timer is running down, and they do still have that sniper, which is, it's useful when you've got the time on the clock, but as it starts to go down, they are running out of time, and they might need to just go for something a little more aggressive, look for some kind of trade, look for some kind of instant value here, rather than just playing around this sniper. Because while he will hit things, they only have such a limited time to actually get this opportunity now.
Certainly, and SKEDDA knows it very well as well. They can just play the clock, they don't have to rush anything anymore. At this rate, a last hold like this makes that ever so much the option to just sit on defense and hope to not make a mistake yourself, hope the opponent's the ones messing up into a solid defense, which they seem to be having for the most part, but if the soldiers slip up again, that could be pretty bad, and they're trying to force the mistakes this turn a lot more aggressively, like you mentioned, looking just straight up for the exchange. The Alov needs to be pretty bad on the way out, can't get that yet. A lot of cap in the back. Want to trying the hardest to get onto this cap as well, but even between the two soldiers combined, it's not enough to lead too much. Try to maybe sneak away onto the med kill there that went back to block, but it's not coming together. And Pick even getting bombed at the end is terrifying, but it will not be quite doing it.
Yeah, and that is just going to be an easy push out now on the side of SKEDDA, and they're going to try and be able to roll that into mid as well. With these two picks, there's no sniper threat, there's no sticky traps, they get in fast. Geordie's going deep here to pressure out these soldiers. He manages to keep himself alive, which is so important now for capping out this middle point and setting up a dry push in the next fight, or looking for a play.
Yeah, keeping up momentum or a push out of last like this is always great. Keeps this rolling for so much longer, and at this point the idea to even have gone for a mid reset just feels silly, right? They got the midpoint already, and it's like they didn't need to go that far at all now. Well, it saves a lot of time here, which they still need to use effectively here, right? We're early in the game maybe, but no one has a lead yet, so gotta actually bet here somewhere on what will work. Warp bombed alone, certainly not the play just yet. We've seen the guy be able to hit these, but get stuck on this soldier and the scout there up front. Can't get much of anywhere. It's got someone sniper surprisingly all the way in forward spawn, just hoping to get the jump on someone. And waiting in spawn that long does have the benefit that no one will see the first shot coming, and surprise factor does help, but no one's really there. Only a scout that just about jumps away, so surprise factor now very much gone as well, but they're still believing in their rifleman, so let's see if that might get rewarded eventually, and looks like it will.
Instant reward there, just catching out Geordie, and that's going to create a lot of space now for them to start getting into these doors and maybe work another sap while that sniper threat is pulling in these soldiers this soldier close. Warp does get a good rocket, it forces Scrimmers out of this fight, and they're just going to reset on mid now, probably wait for their spawner. I don't think we're going to see another play out of Global YETI until SKEDDA have all 6 players up, all their buffs, and then they're going to look for some kind of play in these doors.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned the preseason results already a little bit. They looked not too scared of having to play a slow game if it comes down to it, so pressure surely isn't getting to them just yet. It's still early enough in the game, but things are obviously different, right? With the sniper ahead of them now, them already getting caught by surprise once or twice by Scrimmers here. It's gonna make things awkward eventually. You always have to now play with this threat in mind. It's not quite as terrifying maybe as it is in a King of Death situation, and maybe Scrimmers actually wants to just keep them guessing. I feel like he's walking all the way back to spawn to swap off now as well. Doesn't really like the chances here. All the way to spy.
We do have a sneaky man,
we have two,
yeah. I think Menix is probably going to get caught out, right? If Scrimmers is doing those spy checks there, they must be. Yeah, you can see Aleph spinning around on the point, doing 360s. They must have some awareness now that Menix is just going to go down in cheese, and that's a free kill for Wonju.
That is a read and a half for them, though, to walk the sniper back to spy check in the middle of this.
Absolutely.
Works perfectly, but I mean, I guess SKEDDA has been really passive there as well. Not a bomb for a minute straight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's maybe a mistake from SKEDDA as well, where they are a scout down. You know, they can look to get soldiers in. It's going to be a lot harder to deny them, a lot harder to protect the medic on the side of Global YETI. So trading out Wonju here, there is now player advantage for the team with possession of mid, and that's going to open up an opportunity on some of these doors now. There's no sniper threat, there's a soldier down. They can really start to get aggressive here as long as they beat this demo man spam. But just taking their time, Af comes in, then takes the trade straight through, forces out that Uber pretty quickly. Geordie's going in behind on it. Scrimmers tries to get value in window and might get caught out in graph. Max leaving all alone. Af is caught in and Geordie's behind. Af is just about living there. Warped comes in with a big bomb. Geordie cleans up Scrimmers now, and they're flooding through all the doors, taking control of this second point. It's just Alov and Wonju alive on last. Both of them hiding in lobby. They must be looking to stuff a door or something. But Max already gone past them onto the last point with Af, and they're just going to cap it out right under their noses.
Yeah, really good timing by Geordie. It didn't delay them for very long, but just long enough to have massive impact. A little bit of delay on the accident, like 1 rocket's worth of damage is really all they needed to get this kick started here. And SKEDDA played the long game all the way from last to last, but played it patient, played it smart, gets rewarded for those values, and with the 1-0 lead now on hands, playing the rest of the game as patient and slow as they have so far will certainly make this a lot more frustrating for Global YETI.
Yeah, that first round is always a big mental boost for one side, especially when you've been pinned back on your own last for part of that round. Both teams are just feeling out this mid though, not a lot going on yet. Wonju's coming back, taking a lot of spam damage actually. It looks like the health's on favour of SKEDDA. Cruel goes in on a complete solo bomb, but it has so much health, he takes so long to go down, that Wonju manages to get in. Warped goes down as well, Lucas is down, Menex is down, and they're going to be backing out on the side of SKEDDA.
Ah, well, it's a mid-win at the very least. Maybe not quite the big one you'd like to see. It's a lot harder to chase without Soldiers as well, but they're still putting in the effort to see if they can sneak any kill away. Really weak on Beam, gotta be real careful here, but deciding to just pull the trigger 2 against 1 on this Uber makes the red Uber surely charge, real charge really last a little longer here, and the damage is there as well. Find the kill on the demo man retreating. Jordi just playing patient behind them once again. Tries to cut off the exit here. Gambles wrong on the exit though. There's 2 doors. Back out of grass into mid, the 50-50 does not work out for Jordi, and that makes a big difference. Just one small mistake there from the soldier behind, and they get away with it, actually, Blue.
The play from Jordi was absolutely fantastic there. You know, getting into that door, covering the exit, he picks up 1 frag, but if he'd managed to get that second frag, it's a totally different game right now, and you'd see SKEDDA absolutely pushing mid. But instead, we're back to yet another stalemate, except this time it's on the flip side from what we've just been watching for 5 minutes earlier. So let's have a little look at how Global YETI look to break this, whether they'll send someone back for the sniper class, which they've already been showcasing the skill they have on that class, or whether they go for anything a little more cookie cutter.
Certainly, the options are there to play this a couple different ways. The sniper hasn't really quite done the difference on this certain game state, mid to second, and you can see why. I mean, there's the wide sidelines, but not ones that really look at anyone, so the bombs will have to do it this hard way around, it seems. Try to get some damage in, maybe through Saw as well. A lot of distance to cover there for the scout and demo man, so can't quite get close enough, but an attempt has been made here, and it's equally an attempt by SKEDDA to now play off of this damage, and they're getting one. There we go, over him, the flank on both entrances. They're just running in there as far as they can anyway. Get a kill with this, 1-2 down. Anyone else has to follow to really open this up. Warp tries with the bomb to get to the medic. Med really far back, will not make it that easy. In the meantime, it looks like most of them accepting to retreat here, except Lucas put up a funny little trap there next to the health pack.
Yeah, that it's just going to buy a little bit of time for them to recycle this position and just get the buffs, get the scouts onto height, and wait for Global YETI to put another play in. You know, there was a slight opportunity, but Lucas did shut that down. So it looks like Global YETI are moving towards Saw, just trapping it up, just sort of sitting there for the moment. Not a huge amount going on. I think maybe just discussing the play of how they want to go about breaking this. One's just getting information and chipping from windows.
No, Lucas gets the kill as well. You could see Cruel just seeing the Devilman stare at him and choke, turns around. What? Is there a sticky trap behind me? Did I not notice that? Turns around, doesn't see it. I guess one will take the pack and instantly die.
Yeah, Lucas is a master of these traps, but Scrimmers is on Spy in Saw. He's coming up behind Mac right now. He's going for that stab. He gets the drop onto Mac. And that is going to be Scrimmers going down, but Uber advantage in favour of Global YETI with 4 players alive on mid. They are getting that force coming out, trying to find frags just about anywhere they can. Menek's buying so much time in Kitchen that this Uber is only going to pick him up. Jordi actually sneaks into Kitchen as well. I'm not sure if they saw him get in there. No, Alov absolutely did, and that is going to be a Jordi frag on the side of Global YETI, opening up second for what should be quite a free push, and only a small Uber advantage because of that delayed force, but it's still going to be 15% in favour of Global YETI that they could use into this last point.
And that's such a momentum killer too, with the trap kill and the bomb into mid. They really were trying to get stuff going forward themselves, but perfectly timed spy by the President Sniper main, I suppose, on the roster actually works out wonders. Talk about surprise factor, didn't see this one coming at all, and suddenly maybe there's a chance here. Gun gets spammed on early as much as they can anyway. We were almost there, but it's not a big advantage, so they still got to be real fast. I
mean, this is absolutely dot pushable. They have been building better than SKEDDA. They've created another 5%, so Kidu comes in. The gun was down in pre-fight. They're trying to walk over the point. They're not going for any early cap time yet, though, which means this Uber's going to come out on the side of SKEDDA, and that is going to get the heavy into it as well. They're just covering all of the doors, picking up Scrimmers. They do trade warped out in that fight, and now it's going to be even players on last, so it's likely going to be a reset here, just while all the teams heal up and think about what's coming next.
Yeah, no one on SKEDDA does like a hasty chase or anything towards lobby to see if they can kill anyone else here. They just sit back, settle with the fact that they have last control still, and just set up defense here. Lucas puts up traps, everyone else just takes up immediately normal position again for the hold, just hoping to not get over by a repush, and by doing that, they're making it harder to even attempt that as well. No one sees an opening, no one dares push back in, help out Scrimmers, who's still stuck in class at the very end there as well. With that respawn opportunity, Scrimmers, however, once again on the off class, I think played less Scout than Sniper Spy combined this game so far, but I mean, maybe it's getting results right now. I mean, it has been so far, and one more, it's maybe all they need here. However, there's no gun to sap anymore, that thing's already been taken care of. Gotta get the medic now.
Yeah, that gun going down is big because it's immediately going to open up space for these soldier sacks, which they could combo with the spy. But it looks like Medics is aware of this spy. He's running around with an SMG, trying to, you know, shoot the walls. So there's definitely some kind of suspicion going on. Wonju getting a lot of free spam in drop down. Again, just trying to poke things, take some attention, but they're not going to find anything. Oh, the pyro's out as well from Medics, really trying to find this spy, and he's just hiding right under their noses. Geordie almost walking into him. Cruel's trying to bait from lower. Wonju manages to get in through Lucas Tank's traps on the right, but he baits them and kills Kidu behind instead. Wonzu is actually the one who manages to almost sneak out, but the 4-man sack coming in achieves about as much as a single frag, and then that's going to be a repush onto second, with both Ubers still in play though, which is very important here.
They were really trying the hardest as well to push the medic somehow with some damage towards the spy as well, but it was just not working out. And with the pyro already being there, spy checking everywhere but exactly that spot already, and time was ticking for the spy as well. And as it so goes, desperate situations sometimes make the worst mistakes happen out of desperation, and with that, SKEDDA, well, it's not the worst, I guess, picked. They got out just fine at least. Played their medic safe and all of this, so it's loss of second maybe, but it's not loss of total control of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, in a way you might think second's easier to play on because the trade can just come out like this. Mac does milk it for a little bit. Lucas Tank is trying to juggle in that medic, but the Uber's lasting maybe just long enough. No, Geordie manages to pick up that medic, and so now it's going to be full advantage in the favor of SKEDDA. So big sacks coming in. It looks like Alov's catapulted in through the window. Cruel getting in through lower. They are going to find medics in this, but Mac is just trying to hide behind Geordie, use the human meat shield, but goes down to the bomb from Cruel, which is an absolute Hail Mary, and just about manages to catch him there. Just Kidu alive on the side of Global Yeti, and he is just going to preserve his life. Give up mid, potentially, but, you know, they're going to have a small Uber advantage, and they're now going to, they don't even have to give up mid now. There's no pressure on the side of SKEDDA, so it might even now be a second push with the heal advantage on the side of Global Yeti.
Very much so. Despite Geordie's best attempts, there was just too many people eventually getting past the rest of his team on the other side of the point. Couldn't defend the medic all by himself anymore, and all of a sudden it's going back where we came from maybe. It's not a big advantage maybe as well, but it's certainly still there, and that is more than they had to work with earlier, so
yeah, I think
all they need.
Seeing that 15% ad push earlier means they're absolutely going to try and go for this one, but the key is they have to focus the point or the medic, because last time they did neither and it meant the Uber came out on the defensive side. Getting that gun spam early is nice, but they cannot afford to waste the time, so the Uber is popped out. Kidu gets juggled right against that gun, the aggro position. Alov is running it all the way past the point. There's no point pressure whatsoever. Scrivus thinks about it, then jumps off, and now Max stuck in spawn on 90%, and they just cap it out.
Honestly, maybe just Matt being on point made all the difference there as well. Times 3 just barely faster to cap, Water Heavy slowly walling in point, thinking they have so much time. They had earlier, they had the entire rest of the push anyway. Maybe I can just have the gun revved up, walk to point, but it wasn't quite working out. They were late to point, but they calculated just right with how long it took people to get back out of spawn after the initial damage came in. And, you know, good enough is all you need.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long rotation through spawn there, and they're probably not going to be happy with that last hold as a whole. But we're back onto the mid fight now. Again, we're playing these relatively slow mids to start with, just trading out a little bit of damage. The Cruel high bomb comes in, trying to land on top of everyone, but he does go down. Warped as well with the counter is going to trade out his life. And we're back in a similar situation, but SKEDDA are taking control of the height here. Scrimus now trying to push Geordie off the top, who's totally alone. And Geordie going down so low, but manages to survive, and that's Wonju and Scrimus both down, so they're just going to keep pressuring out here. Geordie goes so deep and ends up dying to Alov, who's stuck in, but Lucas hits a nice pipe, and he's cleaned up by Menex, and it is still going to be a mid-win on the side of SKEDDA, who are already looking to take second through lower.
Alright, both teams taking some mid-fights so far. Once again, maybe not quite the one you'd love to see here. No, that's going down. Still makes there be a chance to fight back, and they once again try to just see if they can take back second, but this time around, it's the complete inverse of round 1. It is the blue medic dropping, not Mac. And all of a sudden, this just is not even going to be last out anymore, right? They're getting the force out, but that might just cost them 2 more players to even get that far. And with this many people down on last, who's going to hold this thing?
Yeah, I mean, there is one way to break Snakewater last, is you break the team on second. You know, when you're getting 3 frags into this last fight, Aleph comes up on the heavy, but he's got absolutely no buff. Krul's just going for a bomb. They do not have the HP on Global Yeti to defend against this last point. It's just a medic on the point with the head, picks up another frag for the logs, but Warped is going to trade himself out for 2 with the gunboat's plug-in gone. That's going to take his life
in the dying
here.
seconds of that round, the last rollout from the Devilman still touched it just a second late. Surprisingly coming down to the wire there, but yeah, they both met in the Solar Date to the same rocket at the end, just killing any chance for anyone else to block for any longer.
Yeah, so a really fast round on the side of SKEDDA is going to be a big mental boost for them. Now they've got to show their character, really getting onto this mid-fight, trying to pressure the demo back early, but Lucas is taking more damage. Bomb's coming out a little bit earlier, but it's slightly whiffed there from the blue soldiers. Krul managing to come in with the hammer, but Wonju just landing on Catwalk and dying to Geordie there. It's going to be more players on the side of SKEDDA. Big bomb coming out of Geordie, picks up Alov, picks up Scrimus. They're not going for the medic pet, or are they? They are a little bit. They think about it.
Does itself at the end as well. Brilliant stuff by Geordie as well. Defense at the back end from the initial bomb, and then instantly beautiful jump in there to just do the rest of the damage the team needed as well. So for a masterclass of soldier gameplay there, but still a bit more to go. There's 9 minutes left. Having control of the game makes things a lot easier, however, for the team in red, and very much will be the second point. This time, there is no chance to defend the second point with an overcharge. Maybe after last round's attempt, that's a good thing in hindsight. As it stands though, sitting on last, not exactly much better either, because SKEDDA has the power position and they can play this whichever way they want to.
Yeah, and it looks like they're just taking their buffs up in lobby. They do have the time to play with. They haven't gone for any pre-spam on the gun here. They're probably expecting it just to be in that passive spot that you'd get on a kind of last-ditch wipe on mid disad hold. Af pops through the shutter with Lucas tank. Krul's trying to play around that shutter as well and do something. Straight off the NG there and going for cap time with Af, but he goes down to the Krul bomb. Another bomb coming in from Wonju who does so much damage. It's just cleanup after cleanup. That's 4 down on the side of SKEDDA, and it's just Lucas tank and Menix running all the way out there. All of a sudden, 4 players just vanished.
Yeah, solid stuff on the defense on the Polish side of things, and maybe some momentum given the Uber situation at hand as well. They might not stop that second at all. Question is how good this push into mid will go, and that's really always the crux of the issue in like momentum situations like this. Sometimes you see people very convincingly just pop instantly, but a lot of times you see people really hesitant to want to use the Uber here at all. They want this for later in the map, they want the max value out of it, but they're trying to have damage for just swinging their minds into some direction here. It's not enough though, in the end even lose Geordie too, and even the chance of getting the Uber on second with 1 player down is just getting worse and worse now.
Yeah, Geordie just got himself caught up against a wall, popped up with a little air shot, and then hit by, I think, the wall shot as well to go down, and it's just going to, you know, disable any chance of spam on this second point. So Global Yeti are rolling it all the way, not even going for the cap there, trying to rush all the way through right side. No sniper on the defense of SKEDDA either, so they are just looking for this space. It's just buying them enough time to get that Kroll sack in, but Mac is playing very safe in the spawn door. He knows what's coming, and he is not going to let that guy get in behind and create that advantage against his team.
Yeah, you gotta respect the quick bombs and situations like this from the offensive team. You can't just sit in the forward hold already at the front wall without any setup at all, with no gun, with no dispenser, just expecting it to work by itself, because they could just jump before your setup's ready, and sitting in spawn certainly kills any chance of that being really as good as it should be. I guess the only real chance at that one the blue team has is really hard on Snakewater especially, right? Just getting a bomb in while you're baiting point a little bit, because getting the point in the first place is a long distance to cover to get that far, so
it's for
really
sure that when the medic goes to spawn, you have to find a way to pull him back out. But the Uber trade is coming in fast from under, comes back with the solo on Geordie. They're only losing the sentry gun in this. Kidu is getting juggled in, but Geordie doesn't quite have enough rockets to pick him up. He reloads again, but the bow comes out, so Kidu's actually going to keep his life, and that's going to stop really any chance of a repush, although it's probably going to be a full-on park the bus from SKEDDA at this point, with just 1 round up and no advantage. The dry push does come in through the open side with the blue team here. Lucas Tank is trying to lock that down, but he needs to reload. Menix is playing the heavy over the point here. They're denying a lot of space. It looks like they really cannot get in through this door, Global Yeti. Geordie does go down to a sniper though with a cheeky angle, but unfortunately the medic on the side of Global Yeti is so weak that they're just going to have to cancel that push while he goes and gets a pack.
Yeah, that was a good showcase for Scrimmage as well. Was trying to get the sniper on the heavy there past defenses, but the second he realized that the heavy was getting on the side, just immediately swaps target to the next nearest player, sort of denying with the damage forward was going to be that target, and suddenly there's 2 down as well. Lucas will at least get traded out for Kid2. No demo moments each, but there's the snipe from Av hitting the first shot right away from spawn. They just have to send it now, and it is looking like a plan B, alright. Everyone's going in and going down just as quickly. And that's really it. They didn't have much time to figure out how they want to sack. They just had to do it at that point.
Yeah, and that is, you know, they're clearly getting a little bit desperate from Global Yeti there, the way that they are starting to throw those players through the doors. But the really nice snipe coming out from AF does just change that last. It creates enough value that they can just reset around those off classes and just clean up all of the guys who are stuck in. Looks like they do still want to go mid though. They do have a full Uber advantage, so they go straight for the pop, just go for the safe option here. Lucas is going deep. He manages to pick up Piku as well. And it looks like Cruel is just sneaking out. The guy in forward spawn has back spawned now. Alov's already repushing completely on his own. And he's living for so long there. Geordie manages to just about get him. And Strimmers comes to help, but does go down as well. So Geordie needs to get his bow. And it looks like they all want to move Saw on the way from SKEDDA.
Yeah, they make that really complicated for Global Yeti, who did not get a good read on the situation, and it just pulls their resources every which direction. They don't know how to handle it. Soldier 1v1 on the back cap, and it's just falling apart at the seams here, and it looks like SKEDDA will be the masters of the chaos today, at least a little bit here, and maybe just enough so there's not much time left, and Global Yeti is now forced to get up this last point quick, because SKEDDA has all the time in the world.
Oh yeah, and SKEDDA now, they're in complete control. They have possession of that second point. You know, they are bearing down on the opponent's backline. They can use this Uber advantage to go for another round if they want to really get that safety net in between them, or they can park the bus here. They do only have 3 minutes up, 30 on the clock, but they do go for that pop. Sentry gun is going down early. Af's going for that instant cap time in the corner. Bomb comes out though, which is going to take down Geordie. Max going really weak. Goes 2 down to 1 rocket from Wonju. It's just Medic stuck in now, and Warps is just going for the Hail Mary. Gets 1 rocket up against the Medic, and it's just going to be Lucas Tank backing out on his own here, putting up funny traps, and maybe he can try and get something to slow down the play here. He misses his debt on the Soldier on the pack though. Maybe he's trying to hold it for the bigger play. He must be, because that Soldier's still parked there. Yep, and he gets the drop on the Medic. He's big play from Lucas Tank. He knows what he's going for. He's done this before, and that is going to really make Global Yeti struggle with coming in through this saw door.
How did nobody see that the entire time? Wasn't Roger turned around already? Oh no. This is a disaster. They messed up so bad in the last 2 and gave them the biggest chance of a comeback, and now this is going on? You gotta be kicking yourselves, and with only 2.5 minutes left, there already was not much room for error, and I think that's the only thing they had left for mistakes to make here. Big air shot as well. Man, just hitting everything.
Yeah, and that's going to be Cruel going down, Wonju going down. Lucas does trade out for Alov as well, but it's going to be 4 kills on the side of Global Yeti. So it's just going to be a roll all the way from SKEDDA here, busting that shutter. Just a demo to defend on last point. Looking for that early cap time from AF. Soldier Bomb is coming out, and the Putis with the gloves out. They don't have enough health on that side of the team. No crit buffs, nothing else, and the damage from SKEDDA is just going to win them out that round over the point.
What a back and forth. Sometimes you just need to mess up Lassie and opponents, and other times it also helps when Lucas just hits everything after that as well. To be the icing on the cake.
You know, there is an experienced player on this kind of team. You know, you can see why they wanted Lucas on demo, because when he could just make plays like that drop, when he can just hit 4 pipes in a row, that is going to change a fight big time. It looks like Global Yeti here already setting up on this mid. Soldiers coming in early, landing straight on the Medic with one of them. Wonju does solo kill Mac. Cleanup coming in from Cruel as well, who manages to take enough eyes that Wonju gets another kill. Bursting over the point from Global Yeti. Just Geordie left alive, hiding in the corner in kitchen. He's going for some kind of time play, I guess, is his only real option. But off that, it's going to be really tough with only 1 minute 10 left on the clock for Global Yeti to pull 2 rounds off there.
Yeah, even just getting 1 at least would look nice, but certainly won't change much of anything anymore. But you gotta try while you had it, right? Crit quick on Mac. At this point, they realize it doesn't really matter if they get a funny crit or not. Might as well try. Will make the numbers look better, I suppose, if it works. So why not manipulate the logs a little bit for the future stats?
And there's also that mental boost from getting another round, you know, getting it to be a closer game. So it is a really nice Uber coming out there. Medix, the heavy, does go down. Geordie also going down, but unfortunately the spawners and the crit buffs coming out from Mac there is just going to be too much health to deal with, and Global Yeti just getting caught, forced to go for the point play here, but dying all on the low ground in the middle of the park.
Yeah, certainly so, and that should be more or less it. Probably isn't even enough time for another round here as well. It looks to be going pretty well here. There is, however, still time for at least some funny business to occur. Everyone's off-classing every which way. Spy, Sniper, crit speak on the field as well. which one of them would succeed is the question.
Yeah, Scrimus is in lower on that sniper, going for the flank, but Geordie dropping down, getting the nice little trick stab, crits coming out, Lucas getting some delightful logs there right at the end off that crits Krieg, and that's going to be 3-1 in the favour of SKEDDA taking this first map.
Yeah, certainly. So, ultimately, a very close game, all things considered. SKEDDA's experience really showcasing once it got messy, I suppose, more than anything, and also, arguably, in some of the slower moments as well. Here and there in some of the holds, just looking pretty confident, holding against what was still a lot coming in. That like early sniper 2-down situation was terrifying for a moment, but they managed to hold on quite nicely. And yeah, maybe just a step ahead works out for now. But if it's this close already for Global YETI, then the future can still bring so much.
Yeah, I think obviously we're changing on to, is the next map Gullywash?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's, that's a very different map to Snakewater here. I mean, Lucas with that performance is, you'd expect him to also be playing pretty well on Gullywash, but there's a lot less sniper angles, a lot less play for Scrimus to try and work that. So we'll have to see how the gameplay changes on a little bit of a kind of closer, more spammy map than Snakewater in the transitions.
Well, if Lucas gets to have a say in the matter, then I have a feeling I know what happens on Gullywash potentially, but you never know for sure. Maybe the rest of the team can shine a little bit more as well here and fight the fights they want to take. Certainly, maybe we'll see a bit more chaotic plays on last cameo as well on Gullywash. Snakewater made this look difficult for sure, but still, the attempts were there. The energy was correct, I suppose, for both of these teams on last to do whatever they could given the circumstances. Maybe Gullywash gets rewarded a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you cannot fault Global YETI for going for plays on these stalemates and on these lasts, and that is coming into Prem in your first season. They are still going for it and taking rounds off some very experienced players. That is it's still a strong performance because it could have been a lot closer than the scoreline suggests here as well. I mean, if we head to the logs, we can see that it was quite a slow game with the kind of damage logs from Cruel and Kidu, the spam classes on the side of Global YETI, which makes sense considering the amount of time was spent on SKEDDA's last point, stalemating, where you would expect Warped and Geordie to just be farming those soldier logs, and they're going to feel really satisfied, Warped being the only player above 300 DPM in this game.
Yeah, I mean, despite that, not really, I think, a very boring game as well. They did still a lot of stuff during the stalemates and did the most they could with what Snakewater provides, I guess, and SKEDDA just a hair bit better here in the end. However, worth mentioning as well, that isn't the only game tonight as well. I feel like people might want to know what's happening on the other side as well. We already debated quite a bit what even might be featured here tonight. But there was a second game tonight, for anyone wondering. If you don't want to get spoiled, I guess, mute the stream for 10 seconds. But it seems to have been, in the Mandem versus Nandem game, a 5-4 game. Doesn't seem to have been a fast one, but it still was a very confident win for the, Prem veterans at this point, I suppose, right? Maybe not an unexpected win. The how of the matter, much like this game, still always matters in a matchup with a expected higher team against a newer team, I suppose. But Mandem starting strong soon.
Yeah, and I mean, as you mentioned, they are the veterans in that matchup. The Mandem derby, you would expect the favourites to be coming out on top. Maybe not quite as strongly as they have done, but it is again. A lot of those players on Nandem, they have experience as well, of course. Players like Phoenix in there and Blank as well, who did perform at LAN. They had some good games. So, it'll be interesting to see how those guys can keep on moving and keep it up against other teams.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, hard to imagine many people will have expectations on Global YETI and Nandem that put them very far apart on the final tables, I suppose. But weird things can happen. And in the end, right, all of these teams will face each other eventually. Mandem is still one of the big lurking threats for everyone in this division in the end. Whoever comes out on top in this match by the end of it, by the end of Gullywash, maybe will still have to go through the big dogs as well. They're out there. I think whatever else is still there. Frenchies, Germans, and TLR as well. Still all big threats to worry about.
Yeah, there is a lot of strong teams in this Prem season, aren't there? With whenever there's qualifiers going on, that it's going to be a strong season. So hopefully there'll be some other pretty close games, and I feel like it might be one of those ones where anyone can upset anyone. There could be anyone having an off day, any team having a particularly good day. There could be some really, really good games coming up this season.
It's really been the case already last few seasons in many ways as well, right? I mean, so many ties the last few seasons, so many close games, tables coming down to the wire until last week. to make playoffs. No one's going to come out of it easy, and the next few games for the rest of the week as well will be no exception. We have a couple more games coming up later down the week. I believe SKEDDA still has to show up against TLR, and then leaves the Frenchies with the final game against the Germans. This season it will be early. I think last season it was a really late game. This time around, they're going at it right away. So these nation teams still out there.
Yeah, that could be a particularly good one to be watching, the Frenchies versus the Germans. The Frenchies bringing that Brueggemann roster back together is very, very strong soldier combo. So we'll see how they can all perform in that match when we get to it. But we have finally switched the map onto Gullywash. So, Dum, how are you feeling about this map that we've got coming up right now then, Gullywash? What's the scoreline going to be?
I mean, it was pretty close, but ultimately, I think I might still have to go with SKEDDA. I was like hesitantly going with SKEDDA at first here on Snakewater in my mind, but at this point, I think it's hard to imagine much else here with where the strength slide, especially the explosive classes did really well, and experience on this map will, I think, just make any good moment spiral out of control so much more.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like SKEDDA did start to settle into the groove of things as that map was going on as well, so you would expect them to be kind of favourites coming into the second map. But, as we've been saying, there's a lot of talent on this Polish team, and we haven't really seen them play a lot of this before. So maybe, for all we know, they've got some absolutely crazy, bonkers, strats coming out that will just change the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was enough for the upset in the one grand finals before, so why not keep the upsets up and coming, I guess, in Premiership as well. Certainly not a bad effort for it already here. And like I alluded to earlier, right? It's already not looking bad in these tough matchups. And maybe a bit of work on the team play here and the general gameplay can do wonders by the end of the season here as well, even if the competition is just going to continue on being difficult all the way through. Gullywash, really interesting one. I certainly on the explosive tests, like I mentioned, on the other side here as well. I have some feeling we might see less off classes, not just sniper, but also spy. Surprise factor matters quite a bit, and as you mentioned as well, getting through these small choke points already difficult enough sometimes when everyone's playing on point, and at that point it doesn't really matter if you're invincible or invisible even, sorry. If they're vigilant enough on these doorways, you will get hit anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And then, that you did mention the off classes as well. You would expect that SKEDDA would be learning as they go along, that they'd be a bit more suspicious of off classes coming out in this match after the frequency with which that we saw Spy and Sniper coming out in the previous one. But, there's still, it's not just off classes that break these points. There's a lot of fun stuff they can do. There's trades, sacks, all kinds. And, there could be an interesting battle between these doors.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, if anything, right, you gotta try to just play pressure into the medic a lot as the polls, I think. Mac, by no means for the first time on medic in his life here, but for the first time at this high level, and adjusting to that still requires you to just have, get your mental stack adjusted to what you need to pay attention to as medic compared to what he's used to on other classes as well, so trying to just add to the pressure there for the medic might not the win condition, but certainly something that can help a lot. That's how, small mistakes like the first drop of the game earlier happened as well, right? He just needed to get into the group of things and wasn't quite 100% there at the very beginning and immediately got punished. And maybe that's something they need to try to play into more. But I mean, as you said as well, they certainly looked better by the end of the game, all of them on SKEDDA. And if they can let them find their footing, maybe the slow stalemates there help them a lot on SKEDDA to find their way against the opponent's playstyle a bit as well. Maybe they just can't let them get into that sort of slower moments there to really just let them find their footing.
Yeah, and it's going to be, a difficult game just on such a map with all these small doors around the place that it is getting people behind, trying to open those channels and create space that you can then use to create value. That is always the difficult thing on Gullywash in particular. So we're going to see the game is starting to tick off right now. Demos are going to start rolling out to mid. Looks like they are going to be going with the standard choke rollout. So it's going to be a lot of spam aiming for this big door immediately. They're going to trade out a little bit of damage straight off the bat. Good stickies coming out from both demos. early bombs to the point from Wanzu, while SKEDDA are playing more on their side, playing defensively, going for that Wanzu cleanup in elbow. Alav and Scrim is going to go straight over the point, and they are going to go down, but Mac is also going to go down at the same time. So it is going to be trading out these medics, just Wanzu left alive in the choke of SKEDDA, and it's going to be a mid-win on the side of SKEDDA as well, with Wanzu behind, maybe causing a little bit of chaos in the next transition.
Yeah, during the double medic bombs there, SKEDDA just had all control of the high ground, complete point control there, gets them pretty much everything they want, and last-ditch effort attempt by Wanzu to try to get to the medic will not work out. They can get him out of the life just fine. Already one down to play with, and they might even just keep it rolling from here, already peeking through choke, just seeing what they can do, and they're feeling confident about it. Bomb comes in, denies the counter bomb, and lands right on the medic with that as well. You couldn't ask for any better. Global YETI hesitated going back in second, and deciding to do it anyway at the end just makes this whole thing fall apart.
Yeah, that little bit of bait to pull Global YETI into second just opened up the space for the warped high bomb, which just caused so much damage, picking up the important frags, and it's just going to be rolled straight into last off that. Jordy getting behind the point, pulling all of the Global YETI players onto that point, going to make them easy targets, and they're not even going to have to use an Uber. They're not even going to need to get the Uber to be able to push straight into this last, kill all the players, and cap it out for round one.
Quick and easy, not even 2 minutes off the clock already. Just yesterday I had people complaining to me, it's so difficult getting fast rounds in this game, but they make it look so easy after all. Maybe you just gotta be, maybe you just gotta be warped, I guess, and have
just
team as a
skill diff.
Certainly so, certainly in this matchup right now, it looks just a little bit like one here as well. SKEDDA looking strong. Global YETI needs to find answers quick, because the mat's gonna go down in no time at all when they're just hitting their arrow and back turn to everyone. And with Warp and Jordy haven't done the damage, now it's just the rest of the team having to defend from the counter-sacks. Bonchu coming in, and that will succeed. Hits the medic, shot on the pillar next to him. Nowhere to go, will at least get consolation prize. It is still a bit weak for SKEDDA, but this time around, plan B will succeed.
Yeah, I mean, with that little play right at the end, the desperation play on the side of Global YETI, they didn't just get the medic, they got enough players that it's probably going to be a really difficult second push as well from Global YETI. So it's not even like they're going to be parked on their own last. That was a really, really strong bomb from Wanju, but it was maybe just a little bit greedy on the side of SKEDDA to have their medic that vulnerable there, to not play it safe, to just bunker up and make Global YETI come into them to keep Mac alive.
Alright, Demo goes down here. Lucas just peeked a bit too deep, tried to get the counter sacks going, but one quick crew bomb will not quite be enough. They're trying to keep the pressure up here. They're introducing the idea of two-man sack, at least to their opponents. No one's really doing it in the end. Scout peeks deep, Soldier from the other side, and Victor also throwing in a lot of damage. No one does the final move, though. They don't really want to end up losing another one. And even thinking about it, it looks like opened up a bit of a back defense hole here, and it looks like Manix is trying to just do whatever you can with that one. It lands right on top of the demo man after dropping down from high ground. Will be traded out, and that little breach of defense in the back will certainly make things out of control. Demo man down. You can already see that going so fine off that.
Yeah, I mean, that is it's turning into a little bit of a chaos fight there as well, and the trades do end up coming out. But, SKEDDA do seem to have position in this big door. They're trying to get the Alav kill here, while Scrimmers just peeks that baby door, trying to create some kind of space, some kind of value. But Jordy is going into lobby, still trying to find that kill, but he does end up going down to two players in there, and it's going to have to be a back out to mid on the side of SKEDDA, so they can just get spam on these doors and prevent the repush all the way into mid. Lucas Tank is laying down a lot of damage into that door there. But, the choke players are bursting straight through, and it's going to have to be all the way out to second now on the side of SKEDDA. Playing like they even might want to leave that. They're so passive right now.
Alright, pretty nice to bring this back into their control a little bit here. Uber advantage not being there anymore will make things slow down. Now they're the ones that have to show what they can do into second. And you see it also often. We've seen it earlier as well just now, a couple seconds ago. Getting the player behind is easy most of the times. Getting good value out of it is where the difficulty lies. They got one kill out of it, SKEDDA, with the scout in behind. That's really all it did in the end. Had to try really hard to get good value out of the demo man going down there, but it still wasn't enough. So what does Global YETI have for us in this situation? Just having the player behind is really just the opening play, right? And for now, they're not even doing that. We're just seeing the standard double bomb through choke, brute forcing an attempt there, and it is not working out as intended.
Yeah, SKEDDA didn't even try and hold that choke door. They just let both soldiers in for free and stood just far enough back that they could just clean up the two easy frags when they came in for 0 damage. They've just burst straight back into mid, picked up yet another frag, and they're already looking to move big door here to try and create more value out of this. Maybe look for more frags or even a force. Af's already in, not even on the beam yet. Krul's trying to bomb him early and takes so much damage he can't do anything to defend now. Scrimus running in and does end up forcing the Uber out from Mac, so it's going to come out so much earlier on the side of SKEDDA, but there's already 2 frags in their favor. Geordie's in on top, and this Uber is just going to have no direction. It's a demo solo. They're trying to find Af in choke, but he moves around a little bit and just sneaks out. Yet Global Yeti trying to reset on top of the point now, but they're hemmed in on every single side, and it looks like it might just be a full wipe on the side of Global Yeti.
And between Af just surfing the sticky out and chokes perfectly, and the soldiers with immaculate timing at the end of the charge as well to bomb back into second at the very end there. Just beautiful stuff on the movement department from SKEDDA, and that sets them up pretty nicely, but it's hard to move in front of a sentry gun that fingers to go down, but it does still claim Af in the end, and it looks like that might be all they have, and maybe it's also all they really need, right? Just keep them guessing here. For now, maybe they mess up big time, right? This time around, not the case. But who really cares, right? They have the big advantage as well. Uber situation highly in their favor. Mac almost at 100 already. And with the gun going down the one time, it does waste a lot of time picking up another one. This thing might reach level 2, certainly not level 3 anymore. Reduces firepower, reduces HP a little bit, and by the time they're in, that might not be lasting very long then either.
Yeah, and then the Uber does just come out from shutters. They're opting to pop straight through, and it does mean that gun goes down fast. Wonju as well going for the counter bomb, just gets cleaned up immediately. Scrimus taking big damage. Alov getting caught in the door as well on heavy is such a loss on the side of Global Yeti. It's 3 frags in the favor, 4 frags, 5 frags, and it's going to be another round.
And it is quick one once again for SKEDDA. Not quite as quick as last time, but 2 up in less than 10 minutes already. Pretty good pace for the winners of map 1 to maybe make this a full 6-point sweep affair for themselves. Coming out swinging this time around. Global Yeti having a lot harder time to adjust to the pace of the game here than they did on Snakewater, and
yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it will be still a chance here, but this mid fight's been rough so far.
Yeah, and Global Yeti already trying to mix it up here. Krul's under the point. Looks like he might be going for an early bomb. I'll just sit down there, but Warp goes in, gets 2 immediately, including the Weddick. So it's just the solo bomb now from Krul, who does get 3 rockets out, and so that is going to be a Mac frag. Again, just about saving this mid fight, so it's not going to be a disad last for Global Yeti. Alov is behind. Seems that they might have an idea. Af has gone back to pick up his medic. Now Alov's just sneaking around under the point. He's just playing it safe though, just trying to live, and that's... No, he's going for Geordie. Just poking him a little bit, maybe trying to buy time for his team to take the space on top here, get into the fight and open up a second hold. They are getting spammed on these doors. Lucas going down a little bit too weak, so he's not going to be able to keep walking in there, and it's going to be a full reset on second now with equal Ubers.
Alright, well, things will maybe change tremendously, however, in the next 10 seconds or so. Or how long it takes here. Mac on Crit Creek now as well. Let's see if that might be exactly what they're hoping for it to be as well. I mean, who's to say, right? Lucas hit some stuff today, so what is there to worry about, surely?
Yeah, and they are coming in very close here, Global Yeti, but the crit is being built out so slowly, it's still been equal Ubers for the last 20 seconds. So there is actually going to be an Uber on the side of Global Yeti to defend this. Lucas looks like he's peeking quite deep, trying to set this up. Crits gets popped out, doesn't get the drop, doesn't get any value at all. The Uber's getting traded out, and Lucas goes down to it. With how slow that got built up, it was always going to be tough to get something after that first sticky. The flood coming from Big Door here, Krul getting in, making a lot of space and climbing up that elbow area, while the rest of the team is sat in Big Door. There's a bit of a fight going on in choke. Geordie does manage to get Scrimus down, but there's so many frags going on behind him that looks like Global Yeti might be just about winning the fight here. Wonju taking down Geordie. Four players up on the side of Global Yeti. Wonju's a little bit weak. It looks like he's trying to sniff out Warped still and choke. Alov just acts like a freight train straight into Warped with the 2-shot, but then goes straight down to Medex there on that chip shot. So it's going to be a mid for Global Yeti, but they're just going to lock out these doors, and all the spawns are going to come out on the side of the red team.
I mean, SKEDDA had not a bad read on the situation. They wanted to just go back immediately through choke, drag them back with that, and just kill momentum by constantly forcing them to worry about the back cap. But Krul did so much damage. That was still a fairly close fight in the end. Everyone's just trading left and right, but Krul starts this off with, what, 2 kills almost by himself alone immediately, and it just was too much for SKEDDA to come back from in the end, even with good DM to at least keep it close.
Yeah,
just did so much work there in choke.
The aim there is just buying time, isn't it? They're already at 85% Uber.
Oh yeah, certainly. And well,
have we got a pause here?
We have some more time at least.
Wow. I mean, looking right now, this is an Uber charge coming through shutter.
Okay, I could tell you who said pause, but a second before they called pause, Jordy said a woo, so I think that's more important here.
I mean, we can speculate all we want with what's going on here, but it looks like this is a complete solo Uber coming in, right? Well, solo in the sense it's 2 players, but
that's not how that works.
But Cruel and Scrimus are so far behind this, both of them still on second. The follow-up, the hammer coming in after this Uber, it might be tough for Global YETI to actually create something anywhere outside of this Uber coming through shot.
If you play Medic and you call for your team to do a solo Uber, is there usually 2 people on the team? How does that work out? I'm curious now.
I mean, it's debatable sometimes, maybe. There's been a lot of solos when someone else ends up in it, so we'll say that.
I mean, at the very least, looking at what we see here, it's certainly justified to flash both people. There's a sticky and a rocket coming in as we speak, so as long as that flash isn't literally ending the next frame the game unpauses, this should be both of them getting out of this just fine. And even if it's unflashed on Kadu, maybe at that time, guy's 260 health, he won't be dead at least, even if he's a bit more weak than he would like to be. But as fast as they're trying to play it here, there's still stuff on the defense. Lucas will have to fall back, most certainly, but they have a Solly that can disappear on that point. They have a Pyro and a gun that will eat a lot of time and damage for sure, so won't be easy here at all, but some good shots by Alov certainly can help enable this to still be pretty good.
Yeah,
but one thing's sure, they won't have early point play in this.
That's the main thing, right? Is that this Uber charge can come in. They've got to put resources into dealing with that sentry gun and forcing Lucas' tank back, but they're not going to have a lot of other resources to use. So Alov is going straight over the point, but Warped's behind it, ready to block that. He does go down fast, but there's so many players on the side of SKEDDA, but no one's getting to point early enough until that Uber does finally come out. There's going to be a lot of damage traded out, but no frags just yet. Scrimus is running straight at that point with the Pyro there to just blast him off, but there's a soldier who's sneaking in from water, goes down to a pipe from Lucas. 2 players now in secret, and they're going to cap that one out.
Yeah, I mean, having the second scout coming from a different direction than the other one, and the demo man as well, helps so much. It's so much harder to deny for one single person when everyone's just coming from every which direction, right? I mean, maybe Lucas has a chance if it's just a scout and demo in secret having to either both rush him down, eat the same spam, or have someone rotate all the way back around the other way, and then maybe Lucas can win the 1v1 enemy time.
Yeah,
Tough one there will be enough.
It must have been that Lucas pause that meant they did just beeline that point. Everyone drops down, so the Uber had no direction with 6 people on the floor. But the mid-fight, Wonju takes down Menex while Lucas gets Scrimus. They're going to have most of the position on the side of SKEDDA with Jordy in that elbow area. Wonju coming in for a bomb on Mac. Mac goes down to 20 health. He's so low, and Alov just bursts across the point all alone here.
Walked behind them, and no one has realized that the soldier was missing the entire mid-fight. Took his time to pop up from under and instantly gets rewarded the second he commits.
Yeah, that was an enormous flank there from Warped, managing to just time his re-entry into this fight, while Global YETI was so focused on those frags in front, and that's just going to create really, really good opportunity now for SKEDDA to try and take something into last.
Certainly so. I mean, maybe the polls help out a bit in the end, make a quicker map talk out of it. Just get things back into working order. Yell at whoever you want, I guess, in the team as well. Whatever helps. And get them back into the swing of things here, it looks like, quite nicely. And this is the sort of situations you cannot afford to beef. What more do you need than this big of an advantage into the last one? Gun goes down, get a kill with it as well. There's a heavy out of spawn already, which means that he's too far away to get out back into spawn easily as well. Can do a nice pipe, gives him a fighting chance, but Scrimus trying to deny the cap by himself. Just becomes an easy target there. Now everyone has to just flood the point one by one, and try as he might, Kadu's just outnumbered, helpless leader in the end, and will not be enough. SKEDDA instantly back with a 2-point lead, 3-1.
Yeah, SKEDDA being very patient there on that last push. After they got that entry, they got that early frag, and they were just able to reset, reload, and go over as a team to just catch out all of these Global YETI players just trying to flood out through these spawn doors. And that let them just get enough frags to win out that last. But onto the mid-fight now. Kido getting very aggressive, going for deep damage in Big Door, while Cruel's still under the point. Lucas does manage to just kill Piku with a pipe there. So it's going to be just throwing players into choke. The demo bomb is coming out as well. Max all nice and cozy out on second here, with Lucas just sat in front of him while the rest of his team just cleans up all of the frags. And that is going to be a very, very, very comfortable mid on the side of SKEDDA.
It will be enough this time around once again, and more than that actually, with Mac staying alive for all of this. This could just go back right where we came from basically, right? Big advantage to last. Threatening to come out of this mid-fight here, and they just have to see what they can scramble together on the defense. But SKEDDA's been looking good into these uber and last pushes. There hasn't been too many, but they've been getting the results when they needed them here as well. The Sniper coming out to play with the gun up as well. Just anything that could slow them down. You always hope for these miracle snipes onto someone that might not be flashed early. Just instantly swing advantage. There's a Jordy peeking through the sidelines there, but not quite landing the headshot. Will mean there's still 6 people running in. Demoman gets a flash there just in time before the snipe can hit as well. And once again, an early kill onto the soldier. Cruel tries to get some damage from under, pops back up, tries to deny them from the point, but they've done so much work already, and as the point gets played, Kadu has to once again be the last line of defense, but it is once again not enough to beat 4 people, and SKEDDA with 2 quick ones back to back after that pause. 4-1 scoreline, have well deservedly put themselves on match point and have so much wiggle room now should Global Yeti even attempt to come back.
Yeah, that was just nice play all around from SKEDDA there to be able to take that Uber in with no gun to even deal with. Then that heavy dropped down very, very early, and it was just a free fag of this heavy off the beam, and they could just keep on killing those guys in the spawn doors, then go for the demo last. Early bomb coming out from Cruel though, trying to get on Lucas tank. He goes down weak, so has to back off. Mac is very weak at elbow as well. Global Yeti just flooding over the point here, picking up 2 frags, and Mac going down to that 30-yarder. So there's going to be the absolute chaos play from SKEDDA, trying to find anything they can, and they do manage to pick up Piku as well. Af dropping 4 frags on that mid, even after it was looking all over, and Menex as well, on only 6 health, picks up Alov, so all of a sudden, flipping that completely.
I was going to lose it there at the end. I think it was Alov pulling out instead of reloading the bleed melee weapon just to try and hit something on 4 HP. If he misses, he's instantly dead. Final Menex there in the corner. Crisis averted, luckily, for the Pulse. On the refight here, maybe there's a player advantage here already as the spawns come in for both teams pretty much at the same time, quite frankly, so tough one for SKEDDA to come back from, but they're trying anyway. They get the bomb on the medic right away. Warp to Jordy with a masterclass today on these bombs.
Yeah, the chemistry between these 2 soldiers, they are just working together so well, following up on each other's damage, hitting each other into each other's juggles. You know, they are really, really playing well, and they are just creating so many medic picks that it's just constant advantages on the side of SKEDDA with this fight. They have now reset on second, just to wait for their spawners to come up, get that Uber advantage, play it nice and safe, but Global Yeti really have to look at least getting a force in this door here, because otherwise they're just going to be pinned back on their own second, and it's going to be really hard to pull out another 4 rounds with only 14 minutes left to go.
Yeah, that's the relative to matter in these situations, right? You are now forced to make, like, risky plays on the blue team. You are forced to take situations where it's easy to make mistakes, just to swing it back in your favor with whatever little time is left here. It still sounds like so much, but as you said, if it's starting to exactly become this, falling back, not getting much in the meantime, you're just losing ground and losing even more time to have to get back that ground as well, and you still don't have that Uber even for all the time they tried to delay here. It is still not enough. Airshot's not landing on the medic just yet, but they have so much time on this Uber to do anything they want, and it's still enough in the end anyway. Lucas is just swinging the knife, but nobody...
He can't switch off. Yeah, but they're just coming in with Global Yeti trying to take top there when they still don't have Uber. So just trying to kite it out the whole way just to try and get that last little percentage, and they just do not have the time to do so when you've got 4 Ubered players flying in at Mach 10 going for that medic frag. But coming into the last though, Menex is just spotting out the hold through the window here. While they build out that Uber, he's seen it's the classic hold, gun and pyro in the standard pause. They should know exactly what to expect, and what they've been doing versus this hold has been working so far. Already trying to get that early spam, but Alov on the pyro class isn't going to let anything happen here. So 90% Uber, they're going to start looking for that push very, very soon, except they're all just AFK on second right now because Lucas went down and I completely missed it.
I mean, you know, if Devil dies and no one sees it, did he really? Lucas can just spawn back in like nothing ever happened and try again next time. It does waste, however, a lot of Uber advantage, and they did not dare make a play into last without him. Seeing how bad one missed potential push already backfired on Snakewater earlier, almost costing them a round. Certainly want to play it safe here, even with the 3-point lead.
Yeah, and now it has evened out on these Ubers, so they do have time to just relax and try and set up a play here. It looks like they're going for a lot of spam in different doors. Now, Warped has snuck into water. I don't know if he's on the pain train, but that could be a really big play if he is, to try and bait out this cap time as well. They have lost a scout already. Warped is getting onto that point. Geordie's committing for the point as well, and they're losing 3 players with absolutely no value really created off that. 4 players, it turns into a 4-man, so they're just going to go all the way back to mid. Lucas watching a little bit of a trap in big door. They might just get their spawners up in time though for the equal Ubers on mid hold.
Yeah, nice little sniper at the end by Scrimmage just to get an unsuspecting scout in main thinking about committing potentially, but once again hesitance will Either worst mistake here, it looks like, and all the way around it goes now for Global Yeti. There's still a fight back, so they have a soldier under, and the scout's very aggressive forward as well. That soldier, during the scout distraction, will get the force in as well, but most of the people involved in that will also go down pretty much immediately. Mac coming up on the has 100, but not 100% of his team with him as well, and that is still a bit dangerous for the time being. The trap will catch True right away. Wonchu very hesitant about going in, and once again just thinking about committing through choke is just meaning you sit there waiting to get hit by anyone looking at you doing it.
Yeah, Global Yeti were maybe a little bit too slow to capitalize on that, but they do manage to just get a force out right at the end from Scrimus, who's just the last one still in, and catches Mac out and just does not die quickly enough. So they are going to still try and take second on this, but they don't have the mid-cap yet, so forward spawns are going to come out. 2 soldiers shooting at the scout and Lucas tank. It's going to make it really difficult now to get into this fight and bring other players in on the side of SKEDDA. Menex is flanking in lobby. It looks like he's going for players behind. Menex is so weak in big door here that even though the players are quite equal, it looks like it's going the way of SKEDDA. Lucas tank with a pipe, killing 2 again, and now it's just Scrimus left, who's just hiding in lockers, maybe looking for some kind of play on Lucas tank, and he just decides to go last again.
I mean, maybe there's a universe where you just fight everyone there, given the fact that sitting on last isn't really going to make things much better at this advantage state anyway, but certainly wouldn't have been a likely success story for Scrimmers either to try to fight everyone on second. Sometimes I guess you just got to dream big, especially if you're down bad this much, this late into a game, but as it stands, SKEDDA would get the chance either which way Scrimmers involved on second or not. Sniper up, heavy up, just seeing if anything helps, and it did some damage last time, but the Zuba's in, and this time around invincible to deal with most of it. Trying to find early damage right away, but there's a soldier behind him. That's an easy one to pick up as well. No cap time just yet. Heavy out of spawn actually walks right back against the Devil Man, but it might just be all they have here. Point is starting to get pressured. No cap time yet, but they see them going that way. They have to go in and intervene at some point, and going in there puts them into the line of fire of Jordi and Af, and they're just whittling away from him. Slowly but surely, Af gets everything he wants there at the end. I think he has more combined points than the highest on those scores on the other team combined at the end of this one, and just puts them out of the misery.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just a little bit of a masterclass from Af throughout most of that game. He just seemed to be able to get on the end of absolutely everything and just clean up whoever was weak. You know, his target focus was just right on it, always shooting the right players and making sure that Global Yeti never had enough people up on their side to create this kind of value at the end of fights with a collapse or a full send, just to kind of create some clutch play right at the end.
Certainly so, just a great showing here. Much better second map. Global Yeti looking solid on Snakewater, but SKEDDA just looking much better in the end here. Certainly warmed up quite a lot throughout this match, and by the time we got to this map, they were not playing around anymore. They knew what to do, and if nothing else, right, we see this ever so often in Premiership seasons. I guess really we haven't seen it that many times the last 3 seasons, thinking about it now with how close the seasons have been, but sometimes the difference between Div 1 and Prem just is made to look this much.
Yeah, I think it was always like a good performance anyway, being, you know, an early entry to Prem for a lot of these players off the back of their Div 1 win last season. So, you know, the experience really just winning out overall, though. Lucas Tank coming into this game and also dropping a lot of damage on one of the maps you would expect to be favouring him. And I think that experience from the side of SKEDDA was really just showing throughout that. You know, they knew how to approach these fights. They knew when to punish people getting caught in just a few steps too far on these different points, just to keep on rolling frags further and further and further, and just keep recycling their advantages through all the points.
Also, this sort of idea, right, where I think it was in America they played around with the idea of, like, I think they did it in Highlander even as well in NA, like forcing the winning teams apart at some point, right? They did. Like the sort of idea here being, you know, we saw Lucas on these top teams for so long. What if he's not on the literal best team starting up the season? The answer is he's still good. It doesn't matter. He still hits these anyway. That much won't change. And certainly it won't change the results today at the very least. They will still win either way. And I mean, who knows? If we could start to the season, maybe there's more success to be coming down later down the line for top spot still anyway. Not a bad showing just yet from Team in Red. And I mean, I already sang their praises before the season started, and F certainly lives up to that. If they just had more consistent teams, then there is some top dog players on their team.
Yeah, I think off the back of maybe their disappointing performance at the recent LAN, they've clearly been in that demo review room. You know, they've been working hard and they've pulled together a roster that they're confident can get a lot of points this season. So starting off with six points straight off the bat is always going to be, you know, the kind of week one that you want to look for, and they're just going to kind of try and roll that through. onto their next match that's coming up. Who's that one against, Dum?
Let's find out as well. While I'm looking up that real quick as well, worth mentioning once again, results from the other game for anyone curious as well, has also ended at the same time. Mandem Nandem once again going 5-0, once again a long 5-0 as well, so not Mandem just winning every interaction for a quick game, but much like this one, probably I have to assume, just looking a little bit better most steps of the way here, and coming out on top. So, well, the first match was very different. Second one, very similar here in the end. Expected wins more or less coming to fruition. The new dogs in Premierships will have a lot to learn from the old guard. And with that said, look at the Week 2 matchups here. Global YETI will, in fact, have the Grand Finals matchup early in Week 2. They're playing in Nandem right away, both coming off of a loss right away, and the win of that one could immediately just determine who pulls ahead from those two.
Absolutely, and there'll be some bad blood in that one, having come straight off the back of that grand final last season. Nandem will come into it with something to prove.
Yeah, especially with the narrative of last season being the way it was, Nandem winning every game the entire season, some closer than others maybe, but still having not lost a game until grand finals, and then just instantly losing the rematch against Global YETI. Did they fairly confidently beaten the last time before that as well? They, like you said, will have something to prove here. On the other side, SKEDDA now with a strong start will have to go once again against a team that is expected to do well here. For fans, the Frenchies, with the little roster shakeup, once again looking to be one of the strongest contenders we have this season, but we'll see if that's enough to beat what looks to be a pretty prepared SKEDDA on their part.
Yeah, I think that's two strong matchups that we're going to be seeing next week, and I couldn't call them right now. So you'll just all have to tune in if those are getting put on Essentials TF next week, and see for yourselves on how these are going.
Certainly so, and we'll catch you with that next time. Don't forget to tune in and follow for more actions later down the week. We have 2 more matches coming, and we'll see you then.